Okay, we're working. We're working. Let me just get my tea. I've left my tea on the counter. So the wife's been on the phone, ordering me around as usual. Let me just grab my tea. I have made it. Just got to bring it. Right. We love a cup of tea. Right, okay. That's better. Okay. We got tea. We got tea, guys. We got tea. So, hi everyone. Yeah, Jane, don't worry. I don't watch. I've stopped watching their videos now. It's just like, come, it ain't normal, right? Obviously you guys tell me about stuff because that's. I woke up this morning and you guys had some information. You don't have to. People send me different things. I actually think the more things that Rick does on his weird Instagram channel that is dedicated to me, which is cuckoo, the more stupid he looks. He's literally digging his own hole now. He literally looks. In case you do watch my show, Rick, you really look crazy now. You really look like, you've become the new Angie's Tea and Tarot. You could call it Rick's Tea and Tarot, yeah, and you could both. It's so funny. It's so funny. Like, seriously, when people are obsessed in such a strange way, that they're posting videos about me every day, it's like, come on, guys. Come on. Right. So my wife is on a diet. She doesn't need to be on a diet. And she was going to have her day. Saturday, she has a pizza. Yeah. It's her treat day. She's been on this diet for about 3 weeks. She's on carnivore diet, keto diet. And now she was going to have pizza tonight, but she just phoned me up saying, I'm not having pizza. I want steak and prawns. Steak and prawns. So I'm going to do as I'm told. Yeah, Nancy, come on. It's not normal. It's not normal. It's like, but I have stopped watching the channels now. Yeah, so not I'd stopped watching Angie's Tea and Tarot about 10 weeks ago. So I haven't watched Angie's Tea and Tarot for 10 weeks. I stopped watching EP Fan Archive and Elvis A to Z and Shauna about 2 weeks ago. So it is what it is, guys. I am a celebrity. Oh, it's so funny. This guy in Southwest UK, who lives near Bristol, who sits in his kitchen defending Elvis, is a celebrity in America with stalkers. Because, guys, these people are stalkers. Angie's Tea and Tarot, who is, by the way, has now been shut down, was a stalker. Yeah? Do any of you guys know that Angie's Tea and Tarot has been shut down? Nancy, did you know? Nancy, did you know Angie's Tea and Tarot has been shut down? That's just funny, Nancy. No one can be bigger than Elvis. Do you know what makes me laugh about it all? Is that I'm 58 in July. I'm just an old man. Just an old man. What are these people doing or obsessing with me? So don't forget, the numbers have reduced. Louis, all right, Jane, you sent me a video. I'll delete it. I don't watch their stuff. Jane, I know you mean well. I know. I'm going to delete it. Let me just press delete. There we are. Look, I won't watch. I refuse to watch anything from crazy people. I honestly, seriously, let me say it to you now on camera. All right. My mother is 83. She's in a nursing home. She's very healthy. She's very well. Yeah. On my mother's life, I never watch these people. Shauna, Elvis A to Z, who's the other stalkers? Angie's Tea and Tarot, she's been shut down, and EP Fan Archive. On my mother's life, I will never watch them. Ever. So trust me, when I say things like that, I mean it. So you guys, you full stalker channel, is it 4, 3? Well, AP Fan Archive isn't really a proper channel, is it? Because it's just all fake. It's just all stolen footage. It's all fake stolen footage. But obviously Elvis A to Z, that channel has videos. And obviously Shauna does. And Angie's Tea and Tarot has been shut down, so we can forget about her. I will never... Those channels, I will never watch them again. Ever. So guys, you carry on making videos about me. I won't be watching. Which I know will frustrate you. Because you're obsessed. Anyway, we've got a nice cup of tea. They can carry on stalking me. Leave them to it. Everything I needed to say, everything I needed to say, I said yesterday and the day before. I broke down my side of the story. I gave evidence. I proved everything. I've exposed them as bullies and haters and liars. Bullies, haters, and liars. That's all I need to do. From now on, anything that comes at me now, whether it be on Shauna's show or EP Fan Archive with his crazy little video releases that he does, or from Rick, who is really, really like obsessed with me, like he's touched, it's just childish hate. That's all it is. It's childish hate. Anyway, right, let's get on with the topic. So yes, Angie's Tea and Tarot is gone. I wish her well in the future. I forgive her. I have no hate for her. There is no hate in my heart. Angie, if you watch this, I have nothing against you. Go on with your life. I'm very pleased that your channel has been shut down. But go on with your life. No hate. Good luck to you. I wish you well in the future. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I don't hate you, Angie. I never did. Angie, I've never hated you. Ever. In fact, none of these people, I don't hate any of you. Rick, who's gone nuts, I don't hate you. Kyle, who's just very angry, I don't hate you. And Shauna, you have been misguided, misled, and you've gone down the wrong road because you are wrong about me. I forgive all of you. I send you all love. I wish you well in the future. Right, let's get on with life. Hi, Marion. Right, so we are still, let's just go on to it. We're just having a nice chilled time. Let's have a look. Let me find Rare Elvis photos. We're going to do a couple of things. Let's have a look. Let's twist it. Hang on a minute. 1 second, guys. Oh, that tea is lovely. So let's get YouTube up. Not now. What's that? Here we go. So now we want, let's have a look. We want history. So we are now, here we go. We're carrying on with Joe's interview a little bit. And then we're going to find these newspaper clips that Nestle has been doing. And we're going to look at our own Facebook page. There's a couple of bits on there. Elaine has posted a few bits on there. So let's do it, guys. You know, it's the usual score. We start off with about 20 people and then it increases. Let me just, hang on a minute. Let me get the video back up. Hang on. 1 second. Let's get the video back up. Da-da-da-da. Yes. Let's get the video. So, window capture. Okay. It's all very technical, guys. So, okay. And then we just shrink it down. There we go. Okay. Right. Just I think that'll do. Right, let's press play on it. So in case you just joined us, we are defending Elvis. We are standing up to Priscilla because of all her lies. Joe at Rare Elvis Photos, we're reviewing a little bit of his video, and then we're going to read some Facebook posts. And I do want to discuss a little bit about this visit to Bad Nauheim of Priscilla.
While we cry me a river for Priscilla, you know, we know this was a powder puff interview. This was her buying her media influence to somebody who obviously has a crush on Priscilla, you know, and gives her her chance to cry and try to gain some public sympathy.
Obviously has a crush on Priscilla. Seems that way.
I have my good days and I have my bad days. Her good days are when she can cash checks that are written by Elvis fans that attend her shows. Cash checks for appearance fees. You know, that's her good days. And her bad days are when she doesn't have any money rolling in, or, you know, when, you know, I don't know. I don't buy it. I didn't buy it at the time. I didn't talk about it a whole lot. We didn't cover the Piers Morgan interview a ton because I didn't want to see her crocodile fake tears.
So
Joe gets it spot on. Remember, I'm a big fan of Joe at Rare Elvis First. Love his channel. Think he's brilliant. One of the best YouTube channels, Elvis YouTube channels, and a proper Elvis defender, a true Elvis fan. He ain't no fake Elvis fan, Joe. He is the real deal. What I'm saying, the thing I like about Joe is that he proper defends, doesn't he? He obviously is not a Priscilla fan. He defends. He wouldn't make excuses for Priscilla like some of these other fake Elvis channels do. Joe is a genuine Elvis fan and wants to defend Elvis, wants to show the world what a great man he was, what a lovely man he was, what a kind man he was, how he has been misinterpreted by many people for decades. And it's so unfair to Elvis that his legacy, his image and reputation have been damaged again and again and again by Priscilla and other things as well. So Joe is a defending Elvis person.
you know, you never know. And it's how could I say, it's difficult. It's difficult to wake up in the morning and not, you know, have a call from my daughter or wonder how my grandson is doing.
Now, you know, this is awkward for me because we are talking about a mother who has lost her daughter and the grandchild. And the grandchild. But we as fans who also love Lisa Marie, we know that behind the scenes they were arguing, they were not getting on well. Jerry Schilling escorted her to the award ceremony, didn't he? Behind the scenes, there is a possibility that a lawsuit was about to be launched from Lisa to Priscilla. You know, allegedly, for entertainment purposes, just an opinion. So I personally think as fans, all we can really do is hope that Priscilla shows some kind of grief. Now, the problem is, after this, she goes on to promote the film, or maybe just before this, I can't remember the exact timing, the Priscilla film with Sofia Coppola. Now, we know about the emails that Lisa Marie sent to Sofia Coppola, basically saying, your film trashes my dad. That's basically what Lisa thought of the Priscilla film. But Priscilla, even though she's lost her daughter, still goes on to promote and push this film because Priscilla wants to be Elvis. This was my opportunity to be Elvis. A film, my name, Priscilla, all about me, based on my book, Elvis and Me, my opinion, a book of lies, a book of lies. So what I'm trying to say to you guys is it's Priscilla's actions after Lisa died that upsets the fans. Remember, the fans don't just love Elvis. They love Lisa Marie. They grew up with Lisa Marie. We, together, all of us, grew up with Lisa Marie. I'm 58 in July, which I keep saying. Almost the same age, really, as poor Lisa Marie. Obviously, God rest her soul. We miss her so badly. We will always demand justice for Lisa Marie against the sexual abuse allegations of Michael Edwards, which he has admitted to in this book. But we have to say it's, for entertainment purposes, alleged. We have to say it. We don't understand what is happening here. We know we have strong views about Scientology. We have strong views that Priscilla put herself first before her own daughter. Priscilla's own career, acting, modeling, you name it, movie making, whatever it is, making money, men, her boyfriends came before Lisa. It is even alleged in this book that Priscilla knew something was going on with Michael Edwards and poor Lisa Marie Presley. Sexual abuse of a child, allegedly. That Priscilla may have known about it and turned a blind eye because she was obsessed with Michael Edwards. Just an opinion, guys. Let's keep going.
Once again, a phone call from my daughter. From what we've all heard from all the different sources that have been out there, she wasn't getting phone calls from her daughter. Okay, and I don't know about Ben. I'm not going to answer to that one because I don't know. I do know that, Ben, unfortunately, as we've been reading in the Lisa book, he was troubled, and he was troubled because his mother was troubled. And who troubled his mother? Priscilla did.
Of course, we're all gutted, aren't we? We're all gutted that Benjamin passed, especially under the circumstances. It's horrific, isn't it, guys? It's like unbearable when you think about the way that poor Benjamin passed. And we all wonder what led to that. A beautiful man who looked very similar to Elvis. It is said that he could sing, he was very gifted, he was very artistic, he was a soft soul, very lovable, very likable. The girls loved him, Riley loved him, the twins loved him. We know how, of course, how poor Lisa Marie was never going to ever come to terms with what happened with poor Benjamin. And you see it in the interviews with Lisa Marie. It's heartbreaking. It's absolutely heartbreaking. We know eventually Lisa Marie goes on to try and help people grieve with their own grief if they've lost a loved one, especially if it's their own child. Lisa tried to help and make a difference. But, of course, poor Lisa Marie was never the same again. And it was never going to be. Now, I can't say the same for Priscilla. Priscilla has lost her child. Poor Lisa Marie. Where is the devastation? Where is the never the same again? You could, on Lisa Marie's face, when she lost Benjamin, even years after, it was just there. You just knew. All of Lisa Marie's aura. And I've seen quite a few interviews and I've read quite a few things. She couldn't hide it. She could never hide that loss, the way that she was affected by Benjamin. Don't forget, Benjamin was very close to Riley as well. Sometimes people forget this. Riley and Benjamin were very close. They got on very well. They adored each other. So this is the problem, guys. This is the problem. It just doesn't add up. It doesn't make sense. None of us understand it. Of course, we all miss her. Again, the fans, the Lisa Marie fans, all of us, basically, we don't get it. We don't get it. This is why I get so upset when people like Shauna say they don't count Riley as Lisa's daughter. It doesn't make any sense. They don't count Riley Keough as the bloodline of Elvis. It's just madness. The bloodline of Lisa Marie. Riley Keough finished this book. She did a bloody good job of it. She exposed Priscilla. She exposed Michael Edwards and many other things. Riley Keough finished this book. She could have put this book in a box and forgot about it, but she didn't. She finished it. We do want justice for Lisa Marie. Right, let's read some of your comments, guys. Hi, Angie. The claim it's because you had too much pressure to be like Elvis. Well, I just think there's probably dozens of reasons that led to that moment. Who knows? We will never know. It's just so heartbreaking. It's such a waste of life. Such a talented, lovely man. Such a waste. I don't think us fans will ever understand it. I don't think we'll ever make sense of it. Yeah, Nancy, it's horrible. That's all I know. It's horrible.
Priscilla troubled Lisa. Priscilla troubled her since she was a little girl, when she was physically abusive. When she, and that's in the books, and also, really, she was abusive as well when it came to letting Michael Edwards do whatever Michael Edwards wanted to do to her.
Yeah, it's funny. It's Deborah just said broken heart syndrome is real. Sally Hoddle, the author of this book, let me just get it. Sally Hoddle, the author of this book, says you cannot die from a broken heart. Sally Hoddle. The title of this book is a joke. Destined to Die Young. That is bullshit. Elvis was not destined to die young. It's a gimmick to sell a book. And Sally Hoddle has posted a video saying you can't die from a broken heart. It's an absolute joke. Sally Hoddle, shame on you for saying to people you can't die from a broken heart. Shame on you for saying to Elvis fans that if you speak negatively about Priscilla, Colonel Tom Parker, Dr. Nick, or the Memphis Mafia, that Elvis wouldn't want us to. That Elvis wouldn't want us to. That we are damaging Elvis's legacy by defending Elvis, by defending Lisa, by defending the bloodline. Shame on you.
Over and over again in that house for all of those years, so, as Lisa was...
Carolyn just made a comment. Now, Carolyn, there are small bits in this book that, where some proper research has been done that are very interesting. But the bit I don't like about this book is the whole theory of destined to die young, the Alpha 1 syndrome theory. That's the bit that ruins that book. Also, a lot of the things in this book are just other people's notes, other people's that have come from other sources. Yeah. Now, initially I was pleased about this book initially. And the reason I was because, finally something's out that tries to defend Elvis. Remember, I'm a Defending Elvis channel. But when I started to understand this book more, I started to realize that this is just a gimmick. In my opinion, for entertainment purposes, this is a gimmick to sell books. I don't believe half of it. Yeah. But there are certain parts of this book that has had proper research that is interesting. Yeah. But the whole premises of Elvis destined to die young, I don't agree with it. I think it's a bit of an insult to Elvis to say that he was destined to die young. Because if Elvis hadn't have become famous, I think he'd still be around. Fame eventually got to Elvis. I really believe that.
Troubled, so was Ben. And yeah, they had a very close relationship, like Gladys and Elvis, and it's very sad. So do I think that Priscilla and Ben were close to each other? I don't know. But do I think that they were close? No, I don't. I think they were as close as they could be, with her trying to find some way to maybe make future money off of him. That's all I see. I just see Priscilla as Moneybags, as Cruella de Vil. I mean, I don't see her anymore as having any kindness or legitimateness.
It's like a part of your, not part, but a large part of your life is taken away.
The particular difficulty for someone like you is that you can't do this privately. That
Right.
everything is magnified on a global stage.
Right.
And there was a
I mean, guys, I find that bit uncomfortable. I'm going to skip past it.
And bounce back and forth. But from everything I've seen and heard, including from Bridget, there has to be a scale below 0 for Priscilla. Let's continue with this interview and let me know what you think, obviously, in the comments.
But obviously, we're reviewing Joe's video. I'll go a little bit longer, then I'm going to jump over to these Facebook posts.
And in different ways, they both were, as Shakespeare says, wedded to calamity. Is it genetic? Is it because they have such high standards? Is it because the world watches them? Maybe. Because to be American royalty is not just to have your country watch you. To be American royalty is to have the whole world watch you.
Oh my God. He sits there, Piers Morgan. I'm so disappointed in you, Piers Morgan, being a British man, that you compare her to American royalty. It just doesn't make sense. I don't know what you're doing. Piers Morgan, do you know that she was secretly seeing someone for a year before she demanded a divorce? Do you know, do you realise that they had been divorced for nearly 5 years when he died? Do you know about the second divorce settlement, how she almost bankrupt Elvis on the second divorce settlement, the greed. I don't understand why, Piers Morgan, if you ever watch my show, I don't understand why you're talking about Priscilla like she was still married to Elvis, like they were deeply in love when he died, and like everything was fine when he died. Everything was not fine. She had taken Elvis's child away from him to live with a stranger. Then a few years later, one of Priscilla's boyfriends, allegedly was abusing Lisa Marie when she was a child. So what? I don't understand, Piers Morgan. I don't get what you're doing here. I don't understand. It's almost like you've erased history. You know, you'd think you as an interviewer would have done some decent research, but at the very least, you'd understand some of this book of lies, maybe some of this book. I don't understand. Piers Morgan, what happened? It's almost like you got blinkers on and like the truth is staring you in the face and you're ignoring it.
Did that resonate with you?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Wow. Look how she somewhat comes alive. Because, you know, Priscilla is kind of a cold fish. At least that's what Elvis called her. You know, absolutely. Absolutely. It's just disgusting. The fact that she was force-fed this comparison, force-fed, you know, this whole American royalty. It's just disgusting.
It is disgusting. And the problem you've got is she is being, I know I've said it so many times, she is being treated like Elvis wherever she goes. Wherever she goes. Standing ovations, chased down the road by the paparazzi, by the press, the photographers. It's like, wherever she appears, a standing ovation. She's being treated like Elvis Presley. I don't get it. They divorced. She was unfaithful a few times. She was really cruel to him with the divorce settlements. She wrote trash books about him. She's done trash interviews about him, giving people the impression that he was a groomer, a controller, that they were seeing each other at age 14. I just don't get it, guys. Honestly, it just beyond me that these interviewers, a very world-renowned interviewer like Piers Morgan, but not just him, all of them do it in every country, treat her like Elvis. Treat her like she is the only reason Elvis is remembered. Honestly, Priscilla will sit there and go, oh yes, you know, he would have been forgotten if I hadn't have stopped the sale of Graceland, if I hadn't have launched the Living Museum. It was my idea with Jack Sodden. It's bullshit. She did not prevent the sale of Graceland. She did not. It was not her idea to do the museum. I don't get it.
But here's the deal. Look, I mean, y'all know, some of y'all Priscilla fans that might be still watching this point, y'all know that, I mean, I actually always kind of felt bad for Priscilla. I thought, what a unfortunate thing, young girl, pretty girl, thrust into a life in a sense that maybe she didn't understand or expect at the time, because her parents let her do it. Her parents pushed her into it, whatever. We found out a lot about Priscilla, and I don't feel sorry for her young life anymore. I don't. I think that it was calculated, planned, and I think that there can be people that are young and are definitely up to no good. Now, once again, some people say, hey, you're giving Elvis a free pass.
Right, 1 second, guys. Now, I think Joe is saying what I've tried to say a few times. Now, remember, many of us here were tricked by the book Elvis and Me, were tricked by the interviews that have been happening for the last 40 odd years. So obviously this book, yeah, a fake fairy tale. Many of us have been, even me, before I became defending Elvis, I was never a Priscilla fan, but I just used to think, oh, poor Priscilla. Elvis was unfaithful. Elvis had a problem with prescribed medication. Poor Priscilla, she was a bit of a victim, and she stood by Elvis. She opened the Living Museum. It was her idea to do the museum. She saved Graceland from being sold. I've always fallen for that. Joe has just sort of said that as well. That, don't forget, I grew up 70s, 80s, 90s. Yeah. I've always thought, yeah, you know, Elvis had a lot of girlfriends, wanted to tour, go off touring, wanted to make the movies. Just a general feeling that Priscilla was a victim. And I never thought Elvis was a bad guy, but I used to think, well, he was a bit unfaithful, you know. He took a few too many pills. Just general, like, it wasn't until I started defending Elvis Presley, when we started the channel defending Elvis Presley, there was a build-up to that. So I was running an Elvis channel. It was very successful, doing really well. But I kept noticing in the comments, the dog's barking. Right, Ella, come on. Sorry. Right, let me get her in. Oh, she's going to bark for an hour. Right, Ella, come on. Come on. Where are you? In. Come on. In. Come on, we're not barking at people. Sorry, guys. Oh, I'm in my kitchen again at home in the southwest UK. So I was running my Elvis channel. We were doing loads of videos, shorts, everything. It was brilliant, Elvis channel. Yeah, I really liked it. I was literally getting hundreds of comments a day. Yeah, I was getting millions of views. Okay, remember I was on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. So across the board, millions of views. Okay. Now, this is what I kept noticing. I kept noticing that loads of the comments were coming in saying, do you know what Priscilla did? Do you know what Priscilla did? Priscilla did this. Priscilla did that. Do you know about this unfaithfulness? Do you know about the divorce settlement? Do you know what she has done to Elvis? So this got me thinking. Now, initially, I just thought, just ignore it. Just ignore it. So I would ignore it. We'd get these comments coming in, and I would ignore it. And I'd be like, keep it positive. Keep it positive. So I would say to the people, oh yeah, but let's be kind. Let's be kind. Let's be good-hearted, because that's my natural way. Let's be kind. Let's be good-hearted. Yeah. So I would say to these people, oh, thank you for the information, but let's be nice to her. Let's not hate. Yeah. Anyway, the comments kept coming and coming. So eventually, after I started to understand a little bit. So eventually I started saying to people, oh, I understand. I understand. If you go back on my comments over a year ago, I started saying to people, I understand, I understand, I understand, I understand. I just kept saying that. I didn't want to fall out with people. Anyway, so one day my brother and my wife separately, said to me, maybe you should listen to what they're saying. Maybe you should listen to what they're saying. So then I started reading the comments. Like properly reading. I mean, like trying to understand them. I started researching the things that were being sent to me. And when I started researching the comments that were being sent to me, different names, different things that had happened through the decades, then I started watching the interviews, the older interviews from the late 70s with Priscilla, from the early 80s with Priscilla, obviously Barbara Walters, things like that. Then I really analysed the Piers Morgan interview, but not just that. I started, we read, I don't know if you remember, guys, we read the book together. We read it. I don't read much now because I'm not really allowed to. Because of copyright problems. So then I started to open my eyes. Eventually we get, let me see if I can find it. Eventually we get to the Child Bride book. Let me just get it. So eventually we get to this book. We're obviously reading this book. I think we read 11 chapters of this, yeah? So I started understanding that there's much more to this and that Elvis does need defending. So we here were chatting every day. We were doing our daily live streams. Obviously the channel was growing. We were getting more support. And I started thinking, I'm wrong. And this is what Joe has just said. Joe has just basically said, look, even he believed the bullshit through the 70s and 80s and 90s. Joe started realizing that Elvis has been unfairly treated. Elvis needs to be defended. A lot of what we think about Priscilla is wrong. A lot of the negative things that are said about Elvis are unfair. That he's been misrepresented. He's been unfairly portrayed. That he doesn't deserve it. The big standout thing, he can't defend himself. So it's like, So then I just felt, I can't even explain it to you guys. I felt something coming in through me. I don't want to sound weird. There was something going on with me. And I remember Elvis saved my life when I was a kid. Because I had a very violent father, Elvis took my mind away from my father's violence. My father was very violent, yeah? So I'm talking ages 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. My dad was very violent, okay? I'm not looking for sympathy. Elvis took my mind away from it. So I would stand in the mirror, 10 years old, with my Brill cream in the little red pot, the white gel. They didn't have gel then, did they? It was Brill cream. So I would Brill cream my hair, get a duck's ass at the back. Remember the duck's ass, guys? And I would turn my collar up on my shirt. Sometimes I would wear my dad's shirt. I'd put my dad's white shirt on. I thought I was Elvis. So this took my mind off the abuse that I got from my dad. But this is my point. Elvis saved me. I honestly believe that if I hadn't have discovered Elvis so young, my whole life would have been different because Elvis inspired confidence in me. He inspired self-belief. It affected my personality. Loving Elvis affected me as a person, how charming I was, how friendly I was, my mannerisms, the way I acted, just a general feeling. Elvis consumed me and my personality. I was still Louis as well, but the influence I got from Elvis took me on a new direction. And yes, I've had a very successful life. Yeah, I went on to be very successful in business, as a DJ, in many things. Yeah, I did very well in my life. And I do think it was Elvis that put me on the right path. Now, what the point I'm trying to say to you is that when I started realizing that Elvis had been mistreated and unfairly represented, and that Elvis can't defend himself, something came through me. We hadn't come up with the name Defending Elvis yet. Something came through me, and I suddenly had this calling to defend Elvis. I started doing more and more research, trying to understand everything. I learned all about the divorce settlements, the will, Elvis's last will, just all the different things that were going on. I learned about Priscilla's unfaithfulness. I learned about how Priscilla treated Lisa. I learned about Scientology. I learned about the Memphis Mafia's wrongdoing, Dr. Nick, Colonel Tom Parker, and I started to get a feeling, Elvis needs defending. Yeah. And then we came together. We eventually came up with the Team Elvis thing, which just happened naturally. So I'm missing your comments. Sorry, guys. But my point is, this is what Joe has just said. That even Joe, for a while, believed Priscilla. That is the point of my little speech. Joe fell for the bullshit, the fake fairy tale. He fell for it. He fell for it. And now Joe knows that Elvis needs defending. And Joe is one of the best Elvis defenders on YouTube in the world.
Okay. There's a different time back then, you know, and it was one of those things that, I mean, nowadays, would this have been a thing nowadays? Not so much. But that doesn't mean that it's that wrong. That's outside the scope of wrongness or rightness. You just have to put things in context. And back then, it was fairly acceptable. A lot of people were getting married at 14, 15, and 16 back then. In fact, I know people, songwriters, famous songwriters, that were married young and married for 50 years, and they're fine. But that wouldn't be Priscilla's reality, because first off, you know, she got her money, she got her meal ticket by getting pregnant. And as soon as she had the baby, she was out having an affair, like literally almost immediately, and claimed that Elvis wouldn't touch her. But I think Elvis just knew that she needed healing time. And I think that he was, you know how Elvis was tender and protective. I think it was that. And then also perhaps after, you know, she had healed, you know, I mean, when you have a baby, it takes a while, you know, maybe he found out about her.
So I think this is building up to the Steve Peck bit. We'll build up to that, and then we're gonna stop and go over to Elvis Presley Fan on Keto, because I've got we're gonna do some stuff to do with movies after this. So give it a few more minutes, guys.
Affairs. Maybe he was upset. Maybe there's more that went on than we know, and that excuse was just given because he just didn't want to be with her anymore, and so she took it and ran with it. But I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if he's going to say it, but I've always thought that as soon as Elvis caught Priscilla being unfaithful with Steve Peck, some people try and tell me that that Elvis never found out about Steve Peck, but that's just rubbish, isn't it? I don't think that's correct. Tell me if I'm wrong, guys. Tell me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure Elvis did find out. So, but some people, I think, who was it trying to say it to me? Someone a few weeks ago. I personally think once Elvis caught Priscilla being unfaithful with Steve Peck, that he didn't want to go near her. Didn't want to go near her, and he went back to his old ways.
That's what the topic of our conversation is. I mean, and I want to hear what your thoughts are on this. Let's continue a little bit more of this interview.
Okay, right. So I want to stop there now. I want to thank Joe for his. Obviously, I've reviewed his video. Yeah. So thank you, Joe. I've got nothing but praise for you. Let's read some of your comments, and then we're going to jump over. We're going to do some fun stuff on Elvis Presley Fan on Keto. We're going to jump over there in a few minutes, but let's just check your comments first. Now, I've still got all the Facebook stuff to go through with Priscilla. That's going to have to be a part 3. Hopefully, I'll be able to do it later. So we'll see. But I've pieced together some movie stuff. I want to go through it. Let's have a look. Priscilla was cute when she was young. I can't say she was very, very pretty. She got very pretty when she got older, but not when he met her. Let's have a look. Oh, yeah, you guys are talking about Todd Slaughter. I've got his books, Todd Slaughter, and I have spoke to him via email a few times. He's aware of us. He's aware of us. He doesn't like drama, but he is aware of us. Yeah, it's a complicated... I have not, Nancy, I have not been clearly told how Elvis found out about Steve Peck. Obviously, we know that she talks about it on page 262 of this book. She admits it. She says that she more or less says that she couldn't stop thinking about Steve Peck. She calls him Mark. Even when she was living with Elvis, with the baby, you know, Lisa Marie was just a baby. She basically says that she had a brief affair and ended it. She also talks about the fact that she was loving it. She was loving having this affair with Steve Peck. She makes that very clear. Bit heartbreaking, guys, but you imagine how Elvis felt when he found out. Yeah, and you guys have got complicated views about the pregnancy, whether or not she was pregnant when she got married, if she tried to lose it, if she starved herself. You know, it's messy. It's messy. So Luann says, back then when newspapers, people bought Have and Priscilla on the front page of the newspaper with Mike Stones, the Memphis Mafia had to break the news to Elvis before Elvis got the newspaper. Right, okay. Thank you, Luann. Thank you. So, yeah, I think I've heard that as well. But did she say she told Elvis? I'm a little confused about that one. Yeah, it doesn't say it in the book. It just says, I had a brief affair and ended it. Now, what Luann is saying, I've heard before, that the others knew. Everybody else knew except Elvis. Yeah? So they told Elvis before, because it was in the papers. Yeah? Is that right? Oh, no, you're talking about Mike Stone. Right, sorry, I'm getting confused. Luann, you're talking about Mike Stone. So, yeah, the question is, how did Elvis find out about Steve Peck, the dance instructor? It's a good question. Right. We're all going to jump over to Elvis Presley Fan on Keto. I'm doing some movie stuff. Yeah? Yeah, what Pamela has just said makes sense. There was enough people at Graceland to know what she was doing. Okay, guys, we're going straight over to Elvis Presley Fan on Keto. Okay, and we're going to do movie stuff. Okay, guys, see you in 3 minutes. 3 minutes. See you all there. I hope you don't mind jumping over. Elvis